to me, what's going to happen now is I hope that creative culture and that ability to connect it to entrepreneurship and innovation will be something that will mark the next 300, the beginning of the next 300 years of New Orleans' history. I start the book with a woman named Ada Lovelace, and she's really, to me, the patron saint of the digital revolution. Ada Lovelace was Lord Byron's daughter, the romantic poet. And so she really understood the beauty of art and the beauty of poetry. But her mother, Lady Byron, was not particularly fond of Lord Byron when Ada was growing up. Lord Byron was a little bit too much of a romantic poet for Lady Byron's taste. And so she had Ada tutored mainly in mathematics and engineering, as if that would be an antidote to being poetic or understanding the arts. Ada instead combined the arts and the sciences. She called it poetical science. And she was able to understand even how the punch cards that were doing these looms in industrial England in the 1830s, those punch cards instructed the looms on how to do beautiful patterns, how to weave patterns. And her father was a Luddite, and I mean that literally. Lord Byron's only speech in the House of Lords was defending the followers of Ned Ludd, who were smashing those looms, thinking that they were going to put people out of work. Even back then, people thought technology would destroy jobs. They were wrong then, they're wrong now. Technology adds to a creative economy, as we're seeing in New Orleans. But Ada understood that the use of those punch cards could be done in all sorts of machines, including numerical calculators, so that the calculators would do more than just numbers, but anything, she said, that could be notated in symbols, music, words, patterns, art. Thus, she comes up with the concept of the programmable general-purpose computer, and even writes the first programs for a theoretical computer. That ability to connect art and technology, when I was reading about it, it reminded me of the first thing that Steve Jobs said to me when we took a walk, a long walk, to talk about the biography of him that he was asking me to write. And he said that when he was a young kid, he loved electronics, but he also really loved the humanities. He loved poetry, he loved literature, and he thought that was odd to love both. He was trying to figure out what he should be. And then he read something that Edwin Land, the founder of Polaroid, had said, is that if you stand at the intersection of the arts and the sciences, if you stand at the intersection of the imagination and technology, that's where the value will be created. And whenever Steve Jobs launched a product, if you've ever seen on YouTube any of his great product launches, the very last slide on the screen was a street sign of arts and technology. And he said, that's the intersection where we stand. Well, I think that's the intersection where people in New Orleans stand as well. This notion of whether it be food or music or art or anything else, connecting that to the digital revolution that's coming now. So when I saw that, it became a theme of the book all the way through. Each of these great innovators does two things. They know how to collaborate, especially collaborate in person, and secondly, they know that beauty matters, that you have to be creative and imaginative, not just a technologist to be a great innovator, and you have to stand at the intersection of creativity and technology. And as I look at what this next phase of the revolution will be, as I said, it's not just about engineering, but it's about people who are going to create new forms of arts that will take advantage of the digital revolution. New forms of novels, role-playing games, live action games and RPGs, but also different types of interactive art. I went to a lot of the Prospect shows this past week, looking at things and realizing, okay, people are being totally imaginative here, and they're doing it with the intersection of technology. So that, to me, is what Idea Village is about as well. I know that, we in New Orleans, some of us, I'm thinking of, Tom and Diana's son and myself and others who became writers, we felt that there was a creative culture in New Orleans that helped nurture that. To me, what's going to happen now is I hope that creative culture and that ability to connect it to entrepreneurship and innovation will be something that will mark the next 300, the beginning of the next 300 years of New Orleans' history. And an important part of that, when I look at the innovation of the great innovators in this book, or the innovation that happened in New Orleans, it's come in various waves in New Orleans. And those waves started when the very first settlers were here with Bienville. And ever since then, there's been new waves of people coming in. When we were at our best as a city is when we welcomed each new wave in. When the people coming back from the Spanish-American War were hawking their trumpets, the freed slaves coming down from plantations were bringing their spirituals, when the Creoles were creating the orchestra, when the Italians and the Germans came in the 1870s and 1880s, each new wave of people brought a new wave of creativity. You see that too in this book. New waves of people bringing new waves of creativity. And after the hurricane, we've become, oddly, a brain magnet. New waves of creative people keep moving into this city. So to me, we've had 2 or 3 great waves of innovation. I remember Michael saying to me that the 1880s and 1890s were a wave when we created everything from the cotton exchange and became very entrepreneurial in the city. We kind of lost that, especially with the Jim Crow laws in the 1920s on. We kind of hunkered down as a city, and we weren't as entrepreneurial as we need to be. But to me, I can feel this new sense of entrepreneurship, especially when I visit Idea Village or Entrepreneurs Week, and say, you know, we're gonna, next time I write the next sequel to this book, there'll be a chapter on places like Austin and New Orleans that have truly connected creativity to technology. So I'm quite happy to both answer questions and maybe engage in a discussion, but thank you all very much for coming.